Good morning, friends. Today, we're gonna do like a real get ready with me. I know normally my get readies with me's are on the floor and super casual, but we're gonna do something a little different, and we're gonna do the get ready with me of putting on Ellery, my sea elf cleric who I play in D&D. If you haven't seen my video where I'm her and also Crimson, go ahead and hit that one up here in the cards. Otherwise, we're gonna launch into my makeup day because I just miss my character. And while we do a makeup, I guess, tutorial on how to become my D&D character, I'm gonna just talk about my process of getting into character as Ellery. There's gonna be some fast forward moments because you don't need to watch literally 20 minutes of me putting on blue makeup, but I'm also going to be listening a little bit to my playlist because I have a very lovely playlist that's perfect for becoming Ellery, and I will post that, I suppose, in the notes below when this is all over with. Hopefully you have Spotify. Okay, let's get started! Alright, I've never done a makeup tutorial before, so hopefully this isn't super shitty. Here we go. Step 1, get your hair out the way. Especially because I'm using a wig. Step 2, music. Step 2 is definitely music, but step 3 is take your makeup off. Because I recorded the intro ahead of this, I was wearing a full face of makeup, but you gotta start with a clean slate. Waving through a window, oh, can anybody see? I'm putting on a Breathable Finish primer because I learned somewhere that primer is supposed to be good for you in cosplay even. I know it's good for you in regular makeup, but anyway, that's what this stuff is. One of the reasons I love doing cosplay and getting into costume is just because it helps me feel more like my character. So here, I'm taking Ginny D's advice and using 2 wig caps, one that's more like a hair net and one that's more like a real wig cap, because that's supposed to be easier for putting your wig on and making it stay on, and some singing because I can't not. Ah, man, here it comes. This is the beginning of putting on the blue. The makeup that I use right here is a little container that you just kind of put some water into that blue disc and mix it around. That's the packaging. You can see that I've got a backup because I'm very prepared. Or supposed to be. But yeah, it's just water activated. So I've got a brush that I use for the wet applications, and you just put some water in the little disc. Swish it around, and get freaked out because there's a lot of water. Oh! And the first strikes of blue! I've always been someone who loved, like, strange makeup and fun face paint and all of that. Ask anyone who knows me. Spirit days in high school were the best. So I love painting on this face makeup. Yeah, okay, let's speed up. You don't need to watch me put on every single stroke of the blue makeup. As far as this makeup goes, one of the tutorials that I've seen suggested putting on 2 layers of the paint rather than trying to get it all thick as soon as you first put it on. It's just not going to happen in a water-soluble makeup like this. So this is coat number 1. Dancing is also required if you ever put on cosplay. Put on good music and dancing is required. It just doesn't lay on the same if you don't dance. Here's coat number 2. just as important as coat number 1. It's basically just to give you a more even coverage, the same way that, you know, some people use foundation and concealer, and I don't know anything about makeup. But the same way that you gotta do multiple things if you want full coverage on your face. Works in cosplay too. The problem is that if the first coat is not dry, it's easy to just push around what you've got on instead of actually doing anything helpful in covering your face. This is a product recommended by Ginny D for her Jester cosplay that I purchased. It has a wonderful little palette of blues and purples, and I find it perfect for my Ellery cosplay as well as her Jester cosplay, so it's kind of coming along. Okay, next step, here we go. So I'll show you the palette in just a minute, but the first thing I'm doing is just sort of an all-over coverage like you would do a powder sort of sealer. Just trying to get a whole even coat all the way around. But the next step is gonna be, I think I called it a highlighter accidentally, but it's gonna be like a bronzer equivalent for blue. You'll see it in a minute. But while I'm working on that, I'll talk to you guys a little bit about my Ellery playlist. So the playlist I made is partially just, the first couple of songs that I chose for it are a lot less, this is the character of Ellery, and a lot more, these are water themed, because it's hard to find water themed things. But some of them really are specific. So I chose a song called Hometown, and it's on there, and it is inspired by one of the NPCs that is named Donabella. And this is Ellery's best friend from Falcon's Hollow, which is their hometown. And she feels like home for Ellery, so the song Hometown is designated to Donabella. Any of you that have found a person that feels like home can probably relate. There's a song called Kaleidoscope that's definitely designated for the Wanderer, who is her deity. It's a song about refining how our outlook on life looks. About singing to someone else about how they clarified life. There's also a song called Found/Tonight by Ben Platt and Lin-Manuel Miranda. They are sort of songs from stage productions that the two of them sang as a duet, kind of compiled the songs and did it together. I would love to someday be able to sing that song with our bard of the group, who is Yari. Ellery and Yari could do a duet, and that would make me very happy. There's lots of music. It's a fun playlist. It's worth checking out. I added a song called Caution by The Killers. I think the song I'm singing to in this one is Hey Look Ma, I Made It by Panic at the Disco. There's a lot of Panic at the Disco on this playlist, but Ellery's leaping out into the world. And I wanted music that reflected that. The couple of colors that I use the most in here are this guy for a sort of all over. You kind of saw me brushing that everywhere. Today I'm trying out this one as my cheekbone highlighter and jaw highlighter. And I'm trying to work on eyeshadow. Ellery is not the most, my brother came home and I got stage fright, but what I was going to say is Ellery wears more natural makeup just as a traveler and adventurer. It's not a huge priority to her to put makeup on. You'd never be able to tell by the way that I cake it on. One important detail worth mentioning in this part specifically is I just put blue on my waterline. That is important because otherwise my eyes just look pink and bloodshot. And kicking on the eyebrows. May have gone a little dark, but I'm still learning how to make contrast work and still not overdo makeup for my character. So, bear with me. Well, here's me putting on some lipstick. It is really difficult for me to try to gauge what makes my lipstick look natural. Like, I've never met an actual sea elf in real life. They don't exist in real life. Don't tell Ellery that. Kind of went for that villain thing where the upper lip is like black and the lower lip is normal, like your skin color as that character. Maybe it was working, maybe it's not. My inspiration for having a playlist for Ellery comes from Critical Role. The cast each created playlists, and on their website they created little paragraphs as to why they chose each song, and that strongly influenced and inspired why I chose what I chose for my character. They did a good job of saying, like, oh, this one's dedicated to this person, or this reflects this time in this person's life. And I love playlists for your characters. In fact, I have 4 or 5. What I'm using here is a final seal meant to just do exactly that. Seal in all of my colors. If I don't use this, it is just too easy to smudge. One thing I didn't do today that I do have accessible for my cosplay is I have false lashes. I bought the kind that have the magnetic eyeliner and you just stick them on and they work just that easy. It's great. My complaints in my costume are that I use a water-soluble blue. The Mayron, whatever, that I showed you earlier is water-soluble. And I have the tiniest allergic reaction to my makeup, so I cry just the littlest bit and then this is back to my normal skin tone instead of my beautiful blue. So that's a bummer. The other one is how weird my mouth looks, because it's such high contrast to the makeup that I'm using. But if you ignore some of these things and the fact that I'm still learning how to use wigs, this is a really fun, hour-long process in becoming my favorite D&D character, my Sea Elf Cleric. I did this because I miss putting on cosplay, and since we're still all stuck inside because of COVID, and there are no conventions where I can dress up and go be my character there, I just really miss doing cosplay. So, here you go. Thanks for showing up, and I'll see you next week. Okay, bye. That's brush cleaner. Brother?
Yep.
Hi.
Bye.
I'm doing my makeup in my cosplay, and I'm recording myself, just so you're prepared. I'm gonna talk to myself in here.
Oh. Bye.
No worries. Hi!